We are good to go. I think you ready, Nikki?
Yes, go right ahead.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for hopping on tonight. We're going to make it pretty quick because we value your time and we're all busy. So just go ahead and thank whoever invited you here because you mean something to them. Because what we have is such a gift. How we are getting amazing results, healing bodies, helping people with all different issues. Just go ahead and thank that person because you mean a lot to them. And you also mean a lot to us. We care about people. That is our mission. We care about people. We want people to live long, healthy, the most optimal lives as possible. So you matter. That's what we want you to know. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it over to Nikki, who is a registered dietitian, as you can see on the screen, and a wellness coach. And thank you so much, Nikki, for being here.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Dana. And I'm excited that you guys are here. And you just said that perfectly because one of my passions is through nutrition and through my career over the years. And now my career in LifeVantage has been to help people and get to root causes of the issue, right? And knowing that we can change so much of our future by taking good care of our bodies right now. And I've been a registered dietitian and nutritionist and wellness coach forever, it feels like, but also it feels like a very short time, which is crazy. Probably about 20 years or 25 years now. And I've been in LifeVantage for 14, and I have absolutely loved this as a great way for me to be able to increase my reach, right? Having more of an influence with more people. And I used to do a lot of TV and media work as a dietitian, and that was always my way to be able to have a bigger reach. And I'm excited to be able to have you guys here as part of our LifeVantage story and teaching you a little bit about activation that I'm extremely passionate about. So I know I want, like Dana was saying, I want to get you back to what you guys were doing, and if that's relaxing or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's just wanting to make sure we don't take up too much of your time. But I'll kind of throw in a little bit of history of myself here too. Is I'm a used to be in a cardiovascular specialty hospital, and I was kind of, if you know Joanne Parkins, her and I were both working together there, and she's the one who brought LifeVantage to me because we were very passionate dietitians who think outside the box and really want to do what we can to be able to get into nutrigenomics and teach people that they can make a difference in their health. Um, it's not just what grandpa and grandma had or what mom and dad had. You're in control of it. And we can change those genes through nutrition and health and wellness and now activation. And so knowing that, we as a society are hurting, right? We have a lot of things that we need to do what we can to be able to help. And activation has been a huge, huge answer. So let me get started. I'm a mom. I've got a couple kids. I'm a wife. My kids are old now. Here they're younger, but they're 21 and 19 now, both in college. And they've grown up in LifeVantage, and now they are both consultants as well. And so really fun to be able to help them build their business. And just kind of grow up in a good community of people that thinks differently, and we just really know that anything's possible. We have a huge line of products here. I shouldn't say huge, but we basically encompass all kinds of different avenues, right? And tonight we're going to focus on some of my absolute favorites. We were just kind of talking about it a second ago, with my absolute number one and two favorites, the collagen and the Protandim. But I'm also, you kind of laugh because you'll hear me say I have a lot of favorites as we go through these conversations because it's hard to pick. There's so many good ones, right? But our daily conversations kind of center around not feeling well. And people, what you talk to during the day, have a lot of aches and pains or things they're struggling with and just not feeling very good, right? And oftentimes people are looking for a band-aid to be able to put on top of that issue or cover it up. And could be in any of these forms or all of these forms for some people. And we know that every single day our bodies are being bombarded, right? And I used to also work in a gastroenterology office, and it amazes me, you guys, when we think about our guts and our bellies and how much they have to sort through and figure out. that it actually works. And so tonight we're also talking about that because that's a huge important component, right, of our immune system. And so what can we do to help make it easier on our body? And that's what we want to talk about tonight. We want to work on having more of those healthy cells, less of those damaged cells. We want to heal up that gut. We want to do everything that we can so that our body and our immune system, because of our healthy gut, can go around and say, hey, that's not supposed to be there. Let's get rid of it, or let's fix it, or whatever it is, right? And so taking a part of that and trying to look for a solution, and that's through activation and adding in a healthy lifestyle. I think sometimes people think, hey, you know what, I can activate and I don't need to have any healthy lifestyle. And that's not true. We just saw, if some of you know Dana, she just had a video of herself walking around, right? And it's important to make sure that we add in those healthy lifestyle components. And so you'll hear me say this quite a bit, that we take it to make it. We're working on making antioxidants, proteins, enzymes, things that you need for better health. And before, as a dietitian, I would take a huge graph, right? And take you and kind of put you into that graph and have an estimate of this to this in this big range. And I had to guess based on what I know up here to be able to choose the thing that's best for you. And what I love most about this is there's no guessing. Like, I'm activating pathways in your body so that you produce and do what you need to do. And you guys, we used to do it so good when we were younger. It's just that as we get older, as we continue to get exposed to things, it gets cloudy and there's a lot of fog that our body's trying to sort through to figure out what to do. And our products help to decrease that fog and make it so that pathway is activated so it can take care of you. Because we're all individual, right? We can't just fit into this graph that I was using before, but that's really all we have. And you know what? Sometimes, or that's all we had before. And sometimes that's still what people are using. And I'm just really excited you're here to hear more about this new version of what we can do through activation. So we know, in case you've ever heard of nutrigenomics, we know that we can turn up, turn down, balance different body processes at a cellular level to help you fight disease and be healthy. So 14 years ago, I came to a meeting, not like this, because it wasn't on a Zoom, right? I think actually people were, was it Skyping back then? I don't know. That seems like a whole nother age. But anyway, we actually were in person sitting in a room, you know, when people used to do that more. But now we're able to do the Zoom, which is so nice. But this was it. This was the baby. This is what I came to hear about. And you see, it says the original breakthrough. So I'm sitting there. I've got little kids. You guys know how old my kids are. 14 years ago, they were much tinier. I had a lot going on. I was working in 2 different places. I just developed a meal replacement drink back when meal replacement drinks really weren't around. So I had a lot of stuff going on. And I sat in the room listening, like, oh my gosh, I should really be home doing this. Right. And that's kind of what women, I'll put myself in that group as saying, us girls, and I think we're all girls on here, we do that, right? We multitask in our heads in a lot of places. And so just for a few more minutes, just give me your focus and your attention so you can understand how big of a deal this is. So as I'm sitting in the room, hearing about Protandim, hearing about Nerve 2, talking about taking Protandim Nerve 2 to make our own antioxidants and to decrease oxidative stress. And we know that oxidative stress is the root cause of over 200 diseases. And it activates the production of your own antioxidants. You guys, every day I talked about lowering oxidative stress and lowering inflammation all day long, literally all day long with nutrition. Not with LifeVantage. This was before LifeVantage, right? Why? Because I was in a cardiovascular specialty hospital. People were having heart attacks and problems all day long. And 2 huge components of cardiovascular disease are oxidative stress and inflammation. So here I sit in this room and they're telling me about Protandim and how I can take a pill and I can lower my oxidative stress 40 to 70% in 30 days. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You have my attention. I am focused. I want to know more. And so then, as we're having these conversations, I needed to know that it wasn't just the person in front of the room telling me the story. I needed to know that we had the research to back us up, and we do. You guys, look at this list. These are the places that have studied and spent their money researching our product with all kinds of different situations. That's huge. That doesn't happen very often. And you see it says peer-reviewed published studies on the top. peer reviewed, take a couple minutes after we're done and look at the extent of what has to go through to have a peer reviewed study and to get published. Huge. We're not talking one ingredient, we're talking the actual pill that I take every single morning and have been taking for 14 years. Wild. So Nerf 2 talks a little bit about a couple different of these research articles. The health effects of Nerf 2, which may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. And that is Washington State University talking about that. Then we go on to think about, skin cancer. And the reason why we say this is because you guys maybe know that we have a skincare product, right? And we have a skincare line. Well, guess what? We have that because Louisiana State University said, hey, if you can do these things, you guys remember that your skin is your biggest organ, right? And it is front and center to all the yuck stuff that's coming in. You need to put this in a topical product. So we did. Look at that. Lots of good stuff about being able to reduce tumor formation. Amazing. And then this is one of my favorites too, is the National Institute of Aging. Like literally the National Institute of Aging, you guys. That's huge. The National Institute of Health. I mean, come on, right? Talking about Protandim. They literally said the name of the product. The only nutritional supplement tested that has been proven to increase the median survival in mice, less delaying the aging process. It has the potential to extend lifespan and delay disease and dysfunction. Huge. I mean, if I'm going to live longer, I want to feel good too, right? So very, very cool stuff. As we continue to grow, we added in other types of protandims. And you guys, whoever invited you to this can definitely tell you more. I'm just going to kind of touch on a few things because otherwise we'll be here all night. So this Protandim Tri-Synergizer, we have ways to be able to influence antioxidants, mitochondria, your energy supplier, and NAD. We were just talking, Dana and I actually today, about somebody who in their office, they work on infusions and things to be able to help people increase their NAD. Well, guess what? That is extremely expensive and short-lived. What if there was something you could take every day to influence that? It's right here. And we know when we put those together, and you'll hear me say this a few times tonight, when we put these things together, it makes them even more effective. So very, very cool. The next thing that I absolutely am obsessed with, I remember I said favorites, but now I'm like adding to my favorite is Axio. The reason why is because I get a little scattered. I don't know if you guys get a little scattered, lots of stuff going on, right? And this helps everything be more smooth for me. So it's a great energy focus, executive focus drink, and great for energy. No crashing, no artificial sweeteners, no sugar, 15 calories, just all good stuff, you guys. And honestly, I'll tell you what, thing that I struggled with as a dietitian is getting people to have ideas for drinking things that didn't have artificial sweeteners and sugars in it, right? And so we have that, and it's so much cheaper than a lot of those energy drinks or the coffee or the things that people are doing a bunch of. And lots of good stuff about positive mood, helping for brain processes. Look at this 9-year-old after a week on Protandim Nerf 2 and our Axio. Look how much more clean and precise things are. Tremendous, right? And then now coming into collagen, we've had collagen for a while, you guys. And I was just, if you weren't on right away at the beginning, I saw, I think was it Shannon? I think Kathy had posted it, but I might be wrong. I think I'm right. Dana's shaking her head. Okay. Collagen has literally blown my mind. Now, I got to tell you, I've been on collagen for a long time because I knew that I needed to be on collagen. I didn't get outside results. I maybe got a little stronger nails, but I didn't really see anything different or see any changes. And so all of a sudden, LifeVantage comes out with collagen. I'm like, all right, tell me more. I need to know what the heck this is. Like, is this a big deal or what's making us different? And every time we come out with a new product, I get so excited because of the way that I am and the person that I am, I like to keep learning, right? I don't know if any of you guys are that way where you just really like to continue to learn and find what's going to actually give me my money's worth, right? And here we are. So we have an activated, and look at, there's no spelling error in there. I apologize. It should say antioxidants. We are basically taking a collagen that has the activation in it. So let me tell you a little bit more about how crazy that is. And look at this bottom. When you see this, and I can't see it because you guys, your beautiful faces are over there. But when we add in the collagen with the Protandim Nerf 2, you're increasing your collagen density by 100%. That's nuts, you guys. I wasn't getting any of that. I didn't get the results that I got. from my old powdered collagen. And I was spending a lot of money on that too. And I'm looking at this going, okay, we'll see what happens. I shake that up, crack the top off, slurp it back, and I put a little bit of water in there, shake it again because I want to get all the good stuff. I just take one of those a day, and it has literally made so much difference for me. I used to say that I could never sneak up on anybody because my knee was like crack, 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 crack all the time. It doesn't do it anymore. And so you'll see some of these pictures and you'll see outside stuff, and then you think of it doing it on the inside. Tremendous, okay? Absolutely tremendous. So let me just follow up this with a couple other things. What makes this different is the activate, replenish, and maintain. That's the difference. So we have the activation, so we're able to make the collagen, right? And so it increases the gene activity to make it, replenishes it with 10 types of collagen. Most always have like 2 or 3, and then maintaining it by turning off that gene that degrades it. So we'll kind of just talk a little bit more about this because truly, you guys, I know that we've got some really neat stuff coming up here in this conversation, but this collagen and the Protanum Nerve 2, if I had to pick anything out of our groups of things, I would 100% pick the Healthy Glow Stack, which is what I'm talking about right now. When you're taking traditional collagen, you don't know where it's going. It's just being forced at you. And I love that we have this ruby red quinoa extract in there for that activation component to unlock your cell's ability to absorb that collagen. So it gets to work and gets put to use right away. And then there's the activation component, producing more collagen by 42%, slows down the breakdown by 33%. And like I said, you combine that with Protanum Nerve 2, and hello, we've got that 100%. So these are changes we're seeing. You guys, totally crazy. And if you ask me, and I'm a cynic and total septic where I'm like, you need to show me like this is happening. And the neat thing about it, and I know this isn't going to be true for all of you guys, but it's showing up in your team and your organization as well, that you literally know these people and you see them and you know that that's their before and after picture, like 100% that's them. And that is truly what makes it exceptional to me because I want to know that people that I know that are having these results, right? And so remember when you have this powder, when people are consuming a lot of powder and people do it, right? That's in that situation where it's being forced. That's about 10 to 30% absorption. And since we have the liquid, it's over 90% absorption. And then when you add in that activation component, it really makes a big, big difference. So they were seeing that there was so much good results with people that had a lot of inflammatory issues or autoimmune things going on. And so LifeVantage actually did this study, and it was a gene study. And so usually people are like, oh, your own company shouldn't do the research study, which is true. But with a gene study, it's very black and white. There's no gray area for any interpretation. So it either did or it didn't. And that's the way it is, right? And so they did a study to check and see like what is going on specifically that's making this big change. And it influenced those fibroblast cells. And fibroblast cells are throughout your whole entire system. And just to make it easier for you guys, it's actually quite simple. When we're looking at these fibroblast cells, it helps to make it so they don't overreact to stress. Okay. And a lot of situations where people are healthy, then all of a sudden their like body is attacking itself because your body doesn't know that it needs to just settle down and relax, right? And that's the thing that's really important to distinguish us and why we're different is we have that activation, but it activates like a thermostat. So right now, when we're here, like I was saying before in South Dakota, it's minus 10 degrees. My thermostat is working like crazy, right? But if you're somewhere else, like Dana was saying, it's 70 degrees where she is, hers isn't as much, right? And so that's what we need. We want it to work on the thermostat level because that's exactly the way your personal body does. Now, we have an amazing skincare system that was just recently up-leveled. And if you had to have me pick one of those things, even though I use all of them, if I had to pick one of them, I would pick the True Renew. It's like velvet, literally. And it's really interesting to see that we're getting better than retinol results from people using this True Renew. And talking about tackling those 11 visible signs of aging and really getting a head start on a lot of this stuff. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind as we continue this conversation too is that everybody is their activation component in their own body is on their own body's terms. There's nothing that we can do to make it go faster or do slower or whatever. Everybody's body's different. And so some people will see a huge change in 6 days. And some people, it will take 4 months to have these changes, and that's okay. What you want to remember is when we're doing activation, just because, like, we're going to talk about this weight management system here in a second. So let's say I'm taking that because I want to lose weight, but just because I want to lose weight doesn't mean that when I start activating my GLP-1 system, that my body doesn't go, well, Nikki, that's great, but you need to focus on this instead. And so we're going to work on this before we need to worry about your weight loss because that's more important. And that happens, right? So you'll see people with different timings for their results and situations. But it hasn't been that long that we actually put out this mind body GLP-1 system. And it makes me so excited because as a dietitian, you guys know weight loss has been my thing, right? Forever. And it's hard and it's complicated. And I'm frustrated because as a society, I feel like people are doing things now that are putting them at increased risk for health issues and not being concerned about their health and safety. Instead, they're just worried about getting the weight off, right? And sometimes that's not the best answer. And I love that we have this option for people through activation to be able to activate your body to make its own GLP-1 hormone, right? So instead of injecting, you are actually promoting your body to make its own. So when we're providing it, like through an injection or something, it makes our body lazier. So it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And with activation, we're getting your body to get itself to work like it used to before, right? And so we're the first to market with a natural product that has been scientifically shown to increase that hormone in your body. Remember, it's a two-step system, right? So we have pills and powder. I'll explain that in just a second. But what the heck is GLP-1? Well, GLP-1 is that hormone. It's produced in your gut and it's regulating your blood sugar levels and your appetite. And so what's fun is that I feel like it's really trained my head back again because guess what happens? Even to dietitians who know better and they start working from home, and they don't have to put on dress clothes and kind of be mindful about how their clothes are fitting, you gain weight. So just like a lot of other people, I really want to make sure that I'm decreasing some weight too. But we need to really have some good communication between our head and our belly. So our brain and our belly, right? Our mind and body. And that's a big part of it because some people have never felt full. They just haven't. And this is a really important thing that we need to make sure. So this is a tool in your toolbox to be able, with your healthy lifestyle, to be able to help you make that difference. We've seen some great things in our 12-week human clinical study. Increase their GLP-1 on average by 140%. People lost from 9 pounds to 25 pounds in that 12 weeks. So like I said, everybody's a little bit different. They're not losing muscle, which is a tremendous thing because you guys, I don't know if you know this, but every year as we age, we need to fight to maintain muscle. And so if you're not working to fight to maintain your muscle, do it, right? Because we just lose that. That's just what happens as we age. And we want to keep that so we're able to be active in our future, right? And people were losing visceral fat. And if you don't know what visceral fat is that mean, nasty stuff that we pack in like a, I don't know, like I always say I've been packing mine away like a little like lady on the prairie who's not going to eat for 6 months, literally. Like you just pack it away around all your organs, right? And by the time that it's hanging over my pants, right, where it's bothering me, I've got a lot of visceral fat then that I have proceeded to kind of keep in, I don't even know how to say it, proceeded to start to show more. So we all have visceral fat. That's just our body's protective mode to try to make sure we're keeping our organs safe, right? And so some of us have more than others, but if we can get rid of it, that's huge because we used to think it just sits there and doesn't do anything, but we know that it actively seeks out trouble and puts you at increased risk for disease. That's not good. So we want to get rid of that nasty stuff and put less pressure on our internal organs. So recently, you guys, this is so much fun because now they put our mind body product, which is the two things, with the Protandim. And remember, I told you when we add in Protandim, it makes everything work better. They realized that this is like the Reno crew coming in and activating 22 new genes to restore, rebuild, and renew your internal organs. Perfect. I'll take that. And we know that when we're looking at being able to see metabolism, it's activating 9 new fat and fatty acid pathways. Okay, perfect. I'll take that. It's like it just keeps coming, all these good things, right? And it also amplified the oxidative stress protection with 4 new antioxidant pathways. So very, very cool when we're looking at this influence of that mind body, increasing our GLP-1 hormone, and then adding in that protanum nerve 2. We are getting like the whole enchilada. Is that a bad thing to talk about when I'm trying to talk about weight management? Maybe it just came to mind. But anyway, we're really getting a huge thing. So the two components are our MB Core and our MB Enhance. Um, Keep in mind that this is also a gut rebuilding product. So that's really cool, you guys, because if we're able to improve our gut health, we improve everything, if you ask me. But I was a gastroenterology, dietitian, so I may be biased, but it's huge because a lot of our immune system is in our gut too. And that's really, really fun to think about. So what you do in the morning, you get up and you take 2 of those MB Core pills and you have no calories for a half hour. Okay, so drink it with a nice full glass of water. And then after that, you can eat whatever you want. Obviously, I'm hoping that you're making good, healthy lifestyle decisions, right? And then throughout the day, you can have your MB Enhanced powder. And you just add this to whatever you want. Some people put it into yogurt, some people put it in water. I put it in Axio. And if you put it in lemonade, Axio, it tastes like a lemon vanilla dessert. It's so good. But I just mix it up with one of those little frothers. Um, and it works great to be able to do that. And you start out with 1 to 2 scoops every day for a little bit, and then you increase up to that 4 and see kind of how you do, right? And so you're adding a bunch of different fibers, all kinds of different nutrients. It's like eating a really, really healthy meal and then following up with a big old glass of kombucha, if you ask me. And so we're really looking at being able to help your belly go, hey, you know what? I can tell Nikki that she's full and she needs to stop eating. Or I need to tell Nikki to not pay attention to the Super Bowl commercials because she's not hungry. And it works. Like it literally has made a huge, huge difference for me. And you guys, I know better, but I still fall victim to some of that stuff, right? And so being able to have this has been such a great addition. And my sleep, which isn't even nutrition related, really, right? But my sleep is nuts. I've been on this for 4 months now, and I thought it was great like the first couple months in. And now, 4 months in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally didn't hear like Mitch got out of bed and went to the bathroom. I hear all that stuff, right? I don't hear any of that stuff anymore. And so it's really been a fun addition. And we see great things. What's interesting is sometimes you don't see as much of a scale weight change, but like this gal in the middle, that's what's happening to me. Like when I look at the pictures, like I didn't want to take the pictures, but take the pictures. You don't have to show anybody, but take the pictures. But literally, like look at her legs even. See her thighs? That's what happened to me. Like being able to see that difference there and above her are below her bra line there, that's that visceral fat, you guys. And we're changing structure, right? And so it's working within you, and it's so much fun to see. This is Gloria. Look at Gloria. She has like literally changed her whole person in this and has had so much fun doing it. This is Al. I'm presenting with Al's wife next week here in by Sioux Falls. Al has amazing, he's a Navy veteran, and he has an amazing PTSD story with himself and Protandem. And now he has an amazing mind-body story and the changes that he's seen. This is Marcy. Oftentimes too, we see, I know this is too small to see, but just wanting to point out that lab values are changing too for people. I mean, literally, you guys, I would talk to people about just even getting rid of 10 pounds of extra weight can make such a tremendous difference in your overall health, right? And one thing I want you to just remember for me is that scale weight is not the determination of success. I 100% promise you that, because sometimes we look at that for being able to validate if, we're doing enough to be able to make a difference, and you are. It's just that sometimes that scale weight is just kind of a kick in the pants. And so don't let it frustrate you. Some people are having a ton of weight loss. Some people are having structural changes. And honestly, I want the structural changes, right? I don't know why I'm calling it structural changes, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But that's really important to me. So LifeVantage is the activation company. That makes us completely different than anything else out there. And I can tell you after 14 years, this has been one of my favorite things I've ever done. And as a dietitian, I've had a chance to be, have my hands in all kinds of things. But being able to make friends and establish friendships and help people build their business and see them be successful and also help them change their health has been absolutely so much fun, and just being able to give people hope. So um, just know that we have a place for people here in whatever you decide to do. And tonight, maybe you're like, hey, thanks for the information. I'm great. I'll think about it. That's just fine. But just let the person know, whoever invited you to the opportunity tonight, to know kind of where you're at. Maybe you're thinking that you want to be able to be a customer and get started on the products right away. And if you decide that, then do that and take pictures and write down how things are going and how you feel, so that later in 3 to 4 months, you can look back and see the difference that you're making. But otherwise, there's also a business opportunity too. 14 years ago, I don't even know why I said yes. I totally feel it was a God thing because I was busy and I had too much going on. But I've always sat and thought, what if there was a better way for me to be able to make a difference, and where I wouldn't have to be in the hospital and be on call on the weekends and holidays? And here I am. And so I just basically started and just couldn't shut up about it because it's so exciting to be able to see the difference that we're making. So on that note, you guys, I will let you go. Have the best night, and I appreciate you so much. And anybody has any questions, just make sure you get back to whoever invited you, and we'll get you in touch with whoever we need to be able to answer those questions, or with me. And for those of you who had your cameras on and all of that, it's great to see you. So thanks so much, and take care of yourself and stay warm. And I will definitely try to do the same. Talk to you later.